Yeah, good evening everybody. First of all, let me express my gratitude because I consider it as a personal privilege to be the speaker on this Manjeet Singh Memorial lecture series. In fact, whatever Vinod said was absolutely apt as far as personality of Manjeet Singh was concerned. I'm very sure that most of you knew Manjeet Singh in his lifetime. But for those who didn't meet him in his lifetime, this photograph exactly depicts what Manjeet Singh was all about. Always smiling, always smiling. In fact, I never saw him perturbed ever. As you know, rightly said that when he took over as president of LMA, there were some issues with LMA at that time. But he will always be absolute calm. In fact, while preparing this presentation, I came across a quote by Swami Vivekananda on Gita, where he talks about eternal calmness among intense activity. That was what Manjeet Singh was all about. So this is my, in fact, personal privilege that I have been called upon to speak on this. But I must admit that notice was quite short, so I have tried to gather certain thoughts. I do hope that I come up to your expectations and expectations of the occasion also. Maybe if it was some other lecture, I would not have been that nervous as I am today. Gita as a, let's understand that what Gita is all about. It is part of Mahabharata epic, divided into 18 adhyayas, almost 700 shlokas. And all of you are aware that the setting is of Mahabharata actual war, when all of a sudden the main warrior feels that this is not worth it. He wants to give in. He feels so kind of disheartened about the entire thing, that are we fighting among family members for what? After what for? They are my uncles, my cousins, my teachers, and what are we fighting for? Just for a piece of land? Is it worth it? This is also a noble thought. Nothing wrong with the thought as such. But the charioteer, the Sarathi of that warrior felt otherwise, that no, the responsibilities, the tasks which have been assigned to me are more important than all this spirituality and the philosophy. And the setting is that during that war field, in that field only, Lord Krishna said something to Arjuna which is all Gita about. You may have divided opinion whether it is an historical epic, whether it is a mythology, but this is a document, this is a book which has withstood the test of time. This is as eternal as it was whenever it was, let's say first, whenever it came to existence. Some people say 1200 years ago, there is a set of people say almost 5000 years ago. We may disagree on the authenticity of document, we may agree on historical kind of perspective, but the fact remains this is as eternal, as relevant today as it was whenever it was presented. And that is a reason that number of commentaries have been written on Gita. Perhaps the most commented on book in human library, in human history is Gita, where so much of commentary has been written, and every writer has come up with a different thought. Somebody has looked at it spiritually, somebody has looked at it from politically also. We have in recent times commentary by, during independence struggle, commentary by Lokman Tilak. In fact, that became a symbol of national resurgence. The book The commentary by Lokman Tilak became a symbol of national researchers during our independence struggle. And as late as our second president, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, is known as one of the best commentators on Bhagavad Gita. So, but let me clarify that I am not using Gita as a source of spirituality for this presentation. I am not saying that because Gita has said it, therefore do this. My perspective is different. I am saying that this is to be done, but Gita also says it. The modern management says that this is the way the organization should be managed. But I am taking a support from Gita that Gita, whenever it was said, has said the same thing, maybe 1,000 years ago, maybe 5,000 years ago. So a few thoughts before I, what people felt of about Gita. Mahatma Gandhi says that I have faced lots of tragedies in my life. He lost his wife, lost his son, then all the turmoil. And he says that whenever disappointment stares me in the face and all alone I see no ray of light, I go back to Bhagavad Gita. I find a verse here, a verse there, and I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming tragedy. And if they have left no visible or no indelible scar on me, I owe it all to teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Swami Vivekananda in his commentary, in fact, complete. That was Mahatma Gandhi out of his autobiography by experiments of this forms part of that. The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, when he talks about that our religion should be as close to our life, actual life as possible. He says, I don't want any distinction between religion and actual life. Because for few of us, religion means going to my temple, going to my Gurdwara, come out, forget about religion and start my life differently. No, Swami Vivekananda says no, religion has to be close to your life if it has to be a worthwhile religion. So he says that curiously enough the scene is laid on the battlefield where Krishna teaches his philosophy to us. And the doctrine which stands out luminously in every page of Gita is intense activity, but in the midst of it, eternal calmness. That is what I talked about Siddharth Manji's thing, that whatever was the turmoil, he was always... So I have come to proper, what I have done is that picked up certain shlokas, the verbal translation of the same, and then what meaning it has. This is on third adhyaya, the 11th shlok, which says, yield not path to weakness. This is not fit to be feeble like this. Weakness of heart is low, unwise, terror of enemies, get up and rise. Day in, day out, in our industrial world, in our corporate world, we face difficulties where we feel that nothing is going right. Be it the slowdowns, be it your own internal micro level problems, the markets are bad, the finances are tight, the margins have shrunk, and there is always a tendency in the team to give up at that time. What can be done? That is exactly what happened to Arjuna also. Now, there is a great kind of attraction for the leader also to give in. Because when things are bad, it is always easier to flow with the time, say that yes, I am also worried about everything. But this is where the role of leader comes in. So therefore a responsible leader reminds the achiever in distress about his real inner strength. Arrest this tendency to give up. Boost the morale of members of the team and inspire them to rise to the occasion by his own undaunted courage. Convert the potential losers to certain winners. This is encouragement, motivation is what is all about. Encouragement energizes even during depression. See, we in our life, to people who have been leading the organizations, we have found lots of occasions where we ourselves feel jittery. We ourselves feel that the things are real bad. How do we get out of it? But this is the utmost responsibility of a responsible leader, to ensure that that jitteriness, that sense of dismay doesn't pass on to the organization, and the general morale of the organization is maintained. In again 21st shloka of chapter 3rd, the leadership by example. This is a very famous shloka from there, from that how behaves the best of men, so behaves the rest of men. His example they will show, saying that he did so, we do so. So therefore, this casts upon a leader very immense responsibility to lead by example. It is said that in any society, 90% of the people do not matter. In fact, they just pass through their life. They actually don't even live their life. They pass through their life. It is only 10% of the society which matters. The 10%, you may call them leaders, the people who actually matter. And if any society has 6 people out of those 10, as the right people, the society progress. And if 6 people are bad, we call it a bad society. Therefore, it is not that 51% of the people are bad. It is only 6 out of 100 which govern the fate of organizations, which govern the fate of society. So therefore,